This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by former world champion Barry McGuigan here in London. Barry, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you very much, and delighted that Caroline boxed so well tonight. She battered the girl, clearly won the fight, and that Korean judge was a joke. 95-95. You know, he should be banned from boxing when he can score a fight that was so one-sided. Apart from the last round, really, to score it that close is just embarrassing.
I do have to ask on that though, with the judge, when you heard the 95-95 scorecard read as that was the first one, was there somewhat a worry setting in within the team?
I was concerned, yeah, absolutely, because I thought, whoa, what's happening here? But then the other two judges had it right. One of them had it closer than it should have been. But honestly, so for me, Caroline won 8 rounds, shared the 9th, maybe could have lost it and lost the 10th.
What pleased you the most with her performance?
Just the way she kept her patience and the way she used her upper body movement was fantastic. She avoided so many punches, and her jab was great, and that right hook of hers is great. And she's got to understand that as you step up in class and as you fight these really tough, Asian fighters, they're some of them are going to be able to take your shots and come back, and you've got to be able to have a second string to your bow. So I thought tonight she showed her boxing ability. She was beautiful on that back foot. She stepped back and diffused everything so many times and stepped back in and rammed that jab out. So there's so much of what she did in tonight's fight that was very impressive. She got hit with a good shot, really good shot in the last round, but she fought back and then she held her ground. And it was like a free fall right up to the last spell. I didn't like to see that. I'd like to have seen her move her feet a bit more, but it was very impressive, and she's just getting better and better.
When you're looking at the options that are out there, obviously I know there's been a lot of talk about Beatrice Ferreira, Terri Harper. What do you think? What do you think is next or most likely for Caroline?
We'd like her to fight Harper next, and she's only a kid. She's only developing herself, and she hasn't had enough fights, so she needs to just keep getting better, keep improving, and we'd love to fight Harper. That would be a great fight, and I think Caroline will knock her out.
Just quickly, whilst I got you, saw Chris Billam-Smith knocking about. Obviously, I know he was in the jungle for the Zerdo fight, but now he's got his comeback. He's got Brandon Glanton.
Yes.
And what does he have to produce to show that he still belongs at world level?
Yeah, he's got to produce a good performance, and Glanton is a banger, and he's dangerous. He's short. He fights out of a low centre of gravity, and he punches up. So that's always going to be a worry. But Chris is a remarkable young man, and he's both a good fighter and a good boxer. And once he gets his jab working, I think he'll be way too much for this guy. I think not way too much. I think he'll outbox him. He could get drawn into a bit of a scrap, but I think he's a higher level than Glanton. But he's dangerous, and we've got to be careful early on.
Just quickly, 2 fights, get your thoughts on before we wrap this up. The headline event for Chris Billam-Smith versus Brandon Glanton, Eubank Jr-Benn. What's your take? How does it unfold? How do you see it going?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I heard from one of the other reporters that said this Eubank was limited to 170 pounds by 10 o'clock the following morning, which I was surprised that. I thought they would have said you can't be any more than that at 6 o'clock in the evening, which would have been, because the reality is, Ben, if you look at his weights and go through BoxRec and check his weights, he's been a welterweight his entire career, and he's jumping 2 divisions here. So junior, middleweight, and middleweight, or super welterweight, whatever you want to call it, up to middleweight. So, I can understand why he would put that sort of rule in place, but he should have done it for later in the day. And then you look at Eubanks against Billam-Smith, and he was very badly knocked out. And up to then, when he campaigned at middleweight, when he fought George Groves, his chin was like concrete. Nobody could budge him. And then suddenly he gets down to 160, and he just looked shattered, and he was knocked out. Mind you, he had the rematch, and he won the rematch by a knockout himself. But I just think that there is that vulnerability now, and I think Ben is he's a tiger, and he's aggressive, and he's quick. He's very quick. He may be lighter, but he's quick. And, probably by fight time, he would naturally be 160 pounds. So, there's undoubtedly a sort of 10 to 12 pound gap. And it's just about who has the right game plan. But it's a very even fight. And I just say I'm edging towards Ben. I think he has the surprise in him, in the sense that he's got that speed and that explosiveness. And he doesn't know what it's like to lose yet.
Just final one, somebody who used to train in the gym, Daniel Dubois, he had to pull out of a Joseph Parker fight, but since then there's been a lot of talk and reports that they're lining up that Alexander Usyk bout once again. If a rematch occurs, what does Daniel have to do differently to have his hand raised?
I think he needs to be busier. He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to jab more with Usyk, because Usyk takes your jab away, and then he feints and makes you, and then you start to hesitate and you don't jab. He's got to ram that jab right down the middle of his chest, just a couple of inches below his chin. You're always going to hit something. Keep stabbing that out, and then drop the right hand and left hooks. He's got to throw more punches. He's got to be more assertive, and he's got to be more aggressive.
This new version, if you will, of Daniel Dubois, since he's bounced back from those defeats that defeat against Alexander Usyk, do you feel like it's a fight where he could stop the Ukrainian?
Listen, if Daniel hits you right, he'll knock anybody out. And that's absolutely the case. He is ferociously dangerous. He's a tremendous puncher. So have you absolutely no doubt about that. But the thing is, hitting Usyk. Usyk is he's like a bag of tricks. You couldn't hit him with a handful of stones. His head's moving, he's southpaw. So I think it'll be a much closer fight this time, and Usyk might have to visit the canvas again. Daniel has to hit the body this time and really work on it and go for it, and employ a lot of effort into body work, and then switch to the head. So I think it's a great fight. Still, you'd have to give Usyk the edge, because he's so experienced. He's so he's such an all-round great fighter, and he won the last one, and I think it'll be a different fight. I think Dubois will push him much harder, but again, you'd still have to give Usyk the edge.
I appreciate your time. I know you didn't sign up to do all of these interviews tonight, so go catch up with the team, go have a good night with everybody. Andy. Safe travels home.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Annie.